In the bustling city of New York, there was a young woman named Emma Carter. She was smart, kind, and hardworking, always putting others before herself. Emma was a college student, studying business at a top university, but tuition wasn't cheap, and she didn't come from a wealthy family. To make ends meet, she worked part-time at a small cafe on Elm Street. It wasn't glamorous, but she didn't mind. She loved meeting people, hearing their stories, and making their day just a little better. What she didn't know was that one small act of kindness was about to change her life forever. It was just another Wednesday. The cafe was warm and cozy, filled with the smell of fresh coffee and baked pastries. Emma was behind the counter, taking orders and greeting customers with her usual friendly smile. Then, the door swung open. A tall, well-dressed young man stepped inside. He looked a little out of place, like he didn't usually go to small cafes like this. His eyes darted around the room, as if checking for something. The line moved forward, and soon, it was his turn.
Yeah, can I get a medium coffee and a sandwich?
Of course. That'll be 7.85.
Barron reached into his pocket and froze. A look of panic flashed across his face. He patted his jacket, checked his other pocket, nothing.
You've got to be kidding me.
Emma instantly understood. She'd seen this before, someone realizing they forgot their wallet and feeling embarrassed. She didn't even think twice. Without making a big deal, she swiped her own debit card and paid for his order.
Don't worry about it. Happens to everyone.
Wait, really? You don't have to do that.
It's just coffee and a sandwich. No big deal.
Barron took the tray, still a little stunned. He wanted to say more, but instead, he just gave her a small smile and walked to a table. What Emma didn't know, that was Barron Trump, son of Donald Trump. That night, Barron couldn't stop thinking about what happened. It wasn't just the free meal, it was the fact that Emma didn't know who he was, and she helped him anyway. So he told his dad about it.
Dad, this girl at a cafe, she paid for my food when I lost my wallet. She didn't ask for anything, didn't even make a big deal about it.
Really? She had no idea who you were?
None. She just did it because she's a good person.
Donald leaned back in his chair, thinking,
Well, I like that. Good people deserve good things.
Her name's Emma. She works at that little cafe on Elm Street.
Donald nodded. He made up his mind.
We're going to pay her a visit.
A few days later, a convoy of black SUVs pulled up outside the cafe. Inside, Emma was busy handling the lunch rush. She didn't even notice the sudden hush that fell over the room until she looked up and froze. Donald Trump, flanked by security, was walking through the door. The whole cafe went silent. Customers stared. Phones were pulled out.
Is there an Emma Carter here?
Emma felt her heart stop. Every single person in the cafe turned to look at her. She hesitated, then stepped forward, wiping flour off her apron.
Yeah, that's me.
Emma, I heard a lot about you from my son, Barron. You did something truly kind, and we're here to say thank you.
Barron stepped forward, looking a little shy but grateful.
I never forgot what you did for me, so thank you.
Emma's face flushed. She shook her head.
It was nothing, really. Just helping out.
No, it wasn't nothing. It was exactly the kind of thing the world needs more of.
He motioned to one of his aides, who handed Emma an envelope. She opened it and her eyes widened. Inside was a full scholarship to cover the rest of her college tuition, and a handwritten note from Barron.
We want to make sure you have every opportunity to reach your dreams.
The whole cafe erupted into applause. Customers cheered. Some even teared up. Emma clutched the envelope to her chest, trying to process what just happened.
I don't know what to say.
Donald chuckled.
Just keep being the wonderful person you are. That's more than enough.
That day, Emma learned something important. Even the smallest act of kindness can have huge ripple effects. She didn't pay for Barron's meal because he was important. She did it because it was the right thing to do. And in return, her whole life changed. So, next time you have the chance to help someone, even if no one's watching, do it. Because you never know whose life you might be changing. Be kind. The world needs it.
Emma stood in the middle of the cafe, her hands trembling as she held the envelope. The reality of what had just happened was overwhelming. Customers clapped, some smiled warmly at her, and a few even wiped away tears. The world around her seemed to blur as her mind raced. A full scholarship. Her tuition worries, gone. Just like that. All because of a simple act of kindness. Donald Trump extended a hand, and Emma shook it, still in disbelief. Barron stood beside his father, offering her a small but genuine smile. "We should get going," one of the security guards murmured, but Donald shook his head. "Give us a minute," he said before turning back to Emma. "Tell me something, Emma. What do you want to do once you graduate?" Emma swallowed hard. She had dreamed about that moment for so long, but now, standing in front of one of the most powerful businessmen in the world, the words suddenly felt heavy. I want to start my own business," she said finally. "A cafe, actually. A place where people can come together, no matter who they are or where they come from. A place that feels like home." Donald nodded thoughtfully. "A cafe, huh?" He looked around at the little shop where Emma worked, taking in the rustic charm, the cozy atmosphere, and the customers who clearly loved being there. "I like that." Barron stepped forward. "You'd be great at it," he said sincerely. "You make people feel welcome." Emma smiled at him, her nervousness easing just a little. Donald turned to one of his aides. "Let's keep in touch with Emma," he said. "I have a feeling she's going to do something special." With that, he gave Emma one last nod and started for the door. Barron hesitated for a moment before following, but not before flashing her one more grateful smile. As soon as they were gone, the cafe erupted into conversation. Customers swarmed around Emma, offering congratulations and asking questions. "That was incredible," one woman gushed. "Did you know who he was when you paid for his meal?" someone else asked. Emma laughed, still feeling dazed. "Not at all. I just thought he needed a little help." Her boss, an older woman named Margaret, came up beside her and squeezed her shoulder. "That's what makes this so special, sweetheart. You didn't do it for recognition. You did it because you have a good heart." The next few days were a whirlwind. News outlets picked up the story, and soon, Emma's act of kindness was being talked about all over the country. People started visiting the cafe just to meet her. Some even left extra tips, saying they wanted to be part of the kindness movement she had started. Then, one morning, an email popped up in her inbox. Subject: Business Opportunity. From the Trump Organization. Emma's heart nearly stopped. With shaking hands, she clicked on it. "Dear Emma, we were inspired by your story and believe in your vision. If you're still interested in opening your own cafe, we'd love to help make that happen. Let's talk. Best, Donald J. Trump." Emma stared at the screen, hardly able to believe what she was reading. Tears welled in her eyes. She had spent years working hard, wondering if she would ever get the chance to turn her dreams into reality, and now, because of one small moment of kindness, everything was changing. She took a deep breath, wiped her eyes, and clicked reply. "Dear Mr. Trump, I would love to talk." Best, Emma. Little did she know, this was only the beginning.